Are you a SaaS founder about to launch your product but don't want it to flop? In this video, I'll show you the exact step-by-step process to create product launch videos that helped me hit #1 product of the month on Product Hunt, generated hundreds of thousands of views, and helped my clients get millions of dollars in funding. My name is Renat, and my mission is to help SaaS founders find users who could not live without their product with video. Let's do this. Step number 1 is ideation. The job here is to find the idea that's likely to hit it online and that will communicate your unique selling point, your unique value proposition to your target customers and potentially to investors. The best way to do this is to look at cool references of similar companies on adjacent niches, and I'm going to show you an example of a cool video concept that did pretty well. This one is for a YC company called Adlog, and they're building an AI employee for furniture stores. Super niche. You would never think that something like this would pick up and bang, but this video has gotten over 500,000 views on X alone. Let's check out the introduction.
We're building AI for couches. Yeah, really. Millions of Americans rely on rental furniture, but the businesses behind them, they're still managing payments on systems older than this TV. So, would you rather rely on these guys or let Atlog's AI do the job, calling customers, collecting payments, and actually learning who they are?
Hello, I'm Davis calling from Atlog.
Y soy Valeria.
Atlog monitors key metrics, calls at the perfect time, and monitors every interaction. We're not just stopping at payment recovery, we're automating every part of the furniture industry.
A few really interesting things here. They use this retro style, 70s, 80s, smoking cigarettes, which is probably not the best example, but they got this feeling that it's retro, like the way people run their companies, their furniture stores is super retro, and they showed it visually. This is something called a live action video type. You're going to learn more about it in a second. I want to show you another example of a video idea that was selected, but it didn't hit. Let's take a look. This video got 16,000 views, which is very little for YC that has 1.4 million followers. Let's take a look at part of it.
All right, emergency pod. Don't freak out. There's some news. I just had to get your thoughts on recording.
Oh boy, here we go again.
No, just listen. You know the one that shall remain unnamed, right?
Yeah, you mean...
So the whole idea is a podcast between these two AI-generated phones, quote-unquote emergency podcast. And what they're doing is they create conversational podcasts using AI without recording. I think that there's so many other ways to visualize this idea. It's just boring to watch for 2 minutes. Clearly AI-generated phones, just talking to each other. There's absolutely zero new or interesting information added over here. Like once you get it, you look at it, it's like, okay, cool. Like I see millions of those AI-generated images out there. So this one was a flop. To get your creative juices flowing, I recommend you to collect some references. You can go to YC Twitter page to see what companies are launching there, or you can check out the free resource with awesome product launch videos that I'm going to leave below down in the description of this video. We have different video formats from story-driven, from how-tos, mission-driven, voiceless, etc. So make sure to click on the link down below to check them out. So once we've generated a few ideas and narrowed down the ones that are likely to bang, to perform, we can go ahead and pick the video format. Let's take a look at the video formats that we have access to. #1 is motion graphics videos, and those videos are a little bit more for established companies that have a front end that's unlikely to change drastically. So let me show you how Airtable launch video looks like.
Today's world-class marketing teams run on Airtable. From tracking content to launching campaigns and everything in between. As your work evolves, stay flexible and continuously improve your process. capture new ideas.
So they show the actual interface, they show the features of the product, such as the format you saw. Pretty straightforward. There's another example from Slack.
What is Slack? Slack is made up of organized spaces for anything you're working on. So you can move a project forward.
Important thing to notice here, they do not show the actual product. They show the minimized version of the product without this extra text that's going to be distracting. Here, as you can see, they have this extra lines or bubbles over there, and it's way easier to follow a video like this. Many YC companies, though, that are not yet certain about the exact interface or every feature they're going to have, they're going to create a combination of text and motion graphics. So their product is going to be shown in a bit more of an abstract way. Let me show you the video that we created for a legal tech company called Bessence. So over here, we showed their product interface, and then we showed an abstraction, what type of actions that the product actually does. For example, it runs through all of these checks over here. And as you can see, maybe good 50% of the video is text. Here's another reference. This is a video by proxy. They have animated text and they show the product. The funny thing is that this is how their product looks like, but they blurred out certain parts and did this super zoom into some parts of the product so you cannot see the distracting components. This is the blur I'm talking about. That's the second format you can pick, and the third format is called live action. Let's take a look at Mighty.
Uh-oh. Your browser. It's bad. It's slow. That's the main way it's bad. Try opening some tabs. Go ahead. See? Processor says, please stop. But there's a lot of internet out there.
They hired an actress for this specific shoot. It's a way more complicated video to create because there are a lot of things going on. I'm going to talk about it in a second. Here's another video that we did announcing a funding round from Cartesia.
Hi, I'm Kern, the CEO of Cartesia. Over the past year, we've powered millions of AI-driven calls and helped tens of thousands of creators make their content more accessible than ever. Everyone's saying this is the year of voice AI, and they're right. Many voice models can't reliably say complex phrases that are critical to get right. Names, emails, phone numbers, addresses. Sonic 2 is extremely good at this. Take a listen.
Your confirmation number is AT121. And the package will be delivered to 134 Main Street.
Sonic 2 gives you unprecedented control over generations with best-in-class voice cloning. From complex...
So one is done by actors, the other one is done by the founder. These are the three options that you can choose from. Next up is the scripting stage, and here is the story format that works pretty much everywhere and across the board. Almost every video starts with a problem statement, and then it introduces the product that's the hero of our story that's going to solve this big problem. And then we can show exactly how that product does that by showing unique use cases and features. Then we wrap it all up to impact of how you can save more time, make more money, etc. Those are pretty standard features. And finally, we'll wrap either with the image of the logo or with a call to action. This is the story structure for our story. And another thing that you need to know if you've done script writing before for blogs, for your LinkedIn content, video works very differently. It's very important to use this show, don't tell principle because most of the information is going to be communicated visually. Here's an example.
Mighty is a browser that's fast as F, That's not an exaggeration. This is F, this is Mighty, running on your computer. How? Because Mighty isn't running on your CPU hogging all that RAM. It's running on this incredibly fast Mighty CPU in a top security data center, chunking through data and hurling it at you at light speed to your screen where you...
This was a perfect example of show don't tell. They didn't say how much faster it is, didn't show any benchmarks. They just conceptually show that your computer is finally going to work the way you want it to work. Because people do not think in milliseconds. They think in experiences that are familiar to them. And to apply that show don't tell principle, you need to avoid wordy sentences at all costs. I want to show you an example. Here's version A of this script. As you can see, this is a very long sentence. Take a listen.
Loan management is messy. Outdated spreadsheets and fragmented data keep your team stuck in a loop of gathering information and Excel crunching instead of getting things done.
So there are multiple ands in this statement, and it could be probably 2 or 3 sentences instead of one. So here we have another version that cuts out all of this extra and simplifies the script. Let's have a listen.
Loan management is messy. Fragmented data keeps your team stuck in Excel crunching instead of getting things done.
So much simpler. Here's a bonus tip for script writing. Here's the best way to have an optimal writing workflow. So you need to think about what the voiceover is going to say if you choose to do a video type that will have a voiceover, but you also need to think about what's going to appear on the screen. So here we have the visual part. We personally do script writing in Notion, and we have this callout section that shows what's happening on the screen. Then it has the voiceover itself, and then we have visualization ideas over here. So when you have video examples, you can just take some screenshots, paste them there, and later on, it's going to be extremely helpful. And it will give your story a little bit of texture. Step 4 is storyboarding. So once you have your idea, maybe you've come up with some examples, we're going to create a simple storyboard that has just wireframes of the entire story, just like this. This can be very simple if you've built wireframe websites. That's exactly the same idea. You can put your text in there, you can put screenshots of other product videos just like that one, just to see more or less if that's going to come to life really nicely. There's also a bunch of software out there that allows you to create storyboards in a particular style, or you can use an iPad to do all of this stuff yourself. And if you really want to take it to the next level to make sure that this is going to work in your video, that your script and your visualization ideas are really hitting the spot, think about creating something that we call an animatic. Here's how it looks like. This is just a storyboard with an AI voiceover.
Does this look like your work computer? Apps everywhere. And the worst thing is that in this endless sea of apps, you become the middleman, copy pasting, navigating menus, searching for stuff, clicking, toggling, typing, uploading. Don't get me wrong, I love my...
You can also show it to your target audience to see if it lands with them. It's way cheaper and easier to find mistakes and correct them at the storyboarding stage compared to later on when you have filmed something or when you have designed and animated the entire video. Step number 5 is creating a voiceover. If this is a part of your video format that you selected, there are different styles. You can, of course, choose a female voice, a male voice. It can be in different tones, authoritative, friendly, energetic. I'm not going to go through those, but I'm going to show you how to actually recruit talent for your voiceovers. There are a few places to go. My favorite one is Fiverr. Under music and audio, we have, for example, male voiceover. And then you can check out some of the voiceover actors over here. They actually do acting. They do not just read your script. They think about what's the best way to say something that communicates the point. You'll be surprised it actually works so much better than AI. A lot of the times you think AI can solve all the problems, but no, voice actors are there to stay, at least for a little bit. They really know how to do their job. So go through a few actors, check out who you like the most, who connects with your avatar, your persona, and pick the one you like. Let's have a listen.
Our lives are always getting busier and faster, but we still want to keep in touch with the people we love. It's a real comfort to have a quick way to let them.
Here's what you should absolutely keep in mind when you are looking at this trailer videos. They're voice actors, meaning that they're not stuck with one style. You need to flip through other examples of their work, and they're going to have 5, 6, 8 different styles. Some are going to be more enthusiastic, other ones are going to be a little bit more trustworthy. So go through them and see if they have examples that are closer to the type of video voiceover that you want to make, but don't think that the first 10 seconds of whatever you're going to see in their trailer video is going to be representative of everything that they can do. And of course, you can do the same search on Upwork, which I'm sure you're familiar with. On the other hand, if you're doing a live action shoot, it's going to be a little bit more complicated, or quite a lot more complicated. If you're not familiar with creating videos, then you'll need to hire a videographer or a team on the ground to come set things up for you, to have proper microphone, to capture the sound, to capture the video. But those videos, because so few startups actually make them, they do stand out, and I want to show you 2 awesome examples. The first video is from Cognition Labs, and they launched their AI software developer called Devin.
Hey, I'm Scott from Cognition AI, and today I'm really excited to introduce you to Devin, the first AI software engineer. Let me show you an example of Devin in action.
So the video is actually pretty simple. That's a screen share with some zooms, and then we see Scott in the beginning of the video and at the end of the video. That video has gotten 35 million views. Another great example of a super viral video in 2025 is by this company called Icon.me.
Can you tell which one of these ads is AI? If you guess both, you're right. But did you notice that I'm AI generated too? Hi, I'm Kenan, founder of Icon. We're the first AI ad maker. Think CapCut, but for making ads with AI. Let me show you how it works.
Cool hook, founder in the frame, and then showing the product. And then, of course, founder at the end of the video. So you either have only music for usually text-based animations, you have voiceover, or you have live action with somebody on the ground. From here, we're going to move on to the design stage. If you remember, we have those wireframes, and from wireframes, we want to create those high fidelity designs. That's definitely a designer's job. I'm not really going to get into how to do designs. I'm not an expert at this. Designers are. So designers, they pass on their designs frame by frame to the person who does motion graphics. It's usually a motion graphics designer. That's one of the roles, or motion graphics person. And they're going to use the software called Adobe After Effects to animate each element that is going to be present in Figma for the most part. That's where those designs are done. And they're going to export every element just like this one into their software, and they're going to animate each one of those elements in this piece of software. I'm going to show you a quick glimpse on how this looks like. Again, you're probably not going to do it yourself. This takes years of experience, and that's probably not the best use of your time, but it's cool to know how this stuff works.
This frame is like in full HD resolution. It has everything in there, and that's like really nice. You can already have the typography right, like the sizes for the fonts and everything, and even work with images, although this one we don't need. I export the 3D mockup that you can see in the beginning.
Time to polish things off. We're going to the final stage, which is sound design, to create a little bit more texture to your video. I want to show you what sound design actually sounds like here in the first video, and then I'm going to show you how to make this happen. Let's take a listen.
The last couple of years I've been on a quest to find the perfect deal. Testing ideas, chasing perks, and asking the big questions. Like, why would you buy these New Balance shoes? After countless attempts, I finally got the answer.
There are the swooshes. As you can see, when the buttons collapse on each other, they make sound. There are a lot of those little things that are happening that you cannot perceive when you watch the video at the first glance, but you feel it, and that makes the video way more experiential and way more interesting. So this usually looks something like this, or even more sophisticated, where every second or so there is a sound. It can be a bit more subtle, it can be a little bit more distinct, but there is quite a bit of work that happens in the background. And in order for you to get all of those sounds, you're going to use something like Epidemic Sound. We can find a song from here for our video, which is actually usually done in the storyboarding, that animatic stage, because when you do motion graphics, you want the song to be synced with what's happening on the screen, and so that the experience is a bit more cohesive. And then we're going to sound effects panel, and we can look at different sound effects that we have access to. For example, mouse clicks, keyboard typing. You can find pretty much everything out there, from traffic to funny sounds of people laughing and doing things. This is definitely a great platform for that. And that's the 8-step process to create your product launch video. If you do not want to do all of this yourself, check out my company called Represent. We have designers, motion people, script writers who help you go through this process smoothly and seamlessly so you can focus on building your awesome product and making sure that it reaches masses. I'll leave the link down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.